Hey everyone, it is me, the Emerald Sword, and welcome back to another video where today I will be reviewing Duma Key by Stephen King. So Duma Key is, I think, the first of its kind for a very particular reason. Stephen King made it based in Florida. Yeah, Stephen King wrote a book about Florida. And I think that's really interesting because, as you know, he doesn't really do other states that much. He does Maine. That's the main one, of course, without the joke. Colorado has appeared a couple times. And then, as we've experienced with the Institute, there was Minnesota and the Carolinas and stuff like that. But we haven't seen Florida yet. And Florida's a strange place. From the jokes aside, it's a strange place in the book. So basically, this guy, his name is Edgar Fremantle, and he had this really big construction, like job, like this really big construction site that he owned. And unfortunately, he had an accident when a crane smashed up against him and gave him brain damage. So now he can't really control his anger anymore. He lost his right arm completely, so he only has the left arm now. And yeah, so then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna move to Florida. I'm gonna take a break from life. And so that's kind of what he does. And so he moves into this house that he calls Big Pink. And apparently Big Pink is known for being a painter's house. So what he does is that he just takes up the hobby of painting. But the paintings aren't exactly normal paintings. The paintings have a thing to where if you paint whatever's on them, that thing changes in real life. Like say for instance, Edgar meets this guy named Wireman, who after a bullet to the brain injury, he can't see in his left eye. So then Edgar draws or paints a picture of his eye working or whatever, or a picture of him, and then Wireman's eye just works now. Yeah, so it's kind of weird supernatural stuff like that, but Stephen King's no stranger to that. Anyway, so Edgar's prized possessions are the Girl and Ship series, which there are 8 of. And that's kind of where stuff gets weird. It's like, if you remember, there's a Greek goddess named Persephone. I think she's the one that lives with Hades, but I don't quite remember. So if you do, I guess let me know. Anyway, so anyway, the ship is called Percy for short, and it's based after Persephone. And Percy will come back up in a second. Don't worry. But so while living on Duma Key, which is where Big Pink is in Florida, Edgar meets this girl called Elizabeth Eastlake, who has had an interesting, to say the least, past with Duma Key. Basically, when she was 4 in 1927, she had a pair of twin sisters who drowned, and then she also had an older sister named Adriana, I think, or Addie for short with 1D. I've never seen that spelled that way, but okay. Anyway, and then she died too. It's like a whole weird thing that happened in 1927. And so, she's kind of like, this place is weird, Duma Key is weird. And so over the course of the book, they're like, yeah, this place is pretty weird. But yeah, so anyway, as you're probably aware, Elizabeth Eastlake is very old, and she unfortunately passes away during an art show for Edgar's work. And then this is kind of where the pieces start to fall into place. A lot of stuff is happening. One of Edgar's daughters gets killed and stuff. So they're okay, the paintings have got to go, so we're burning them. So then, yeah, they just destroy all this stuff. And then Percy, if you've read it, Percy's kind of like Pennywise in a way. She lives in a thing under a very old house, kind of like the house on Neibolt Street from the It movies, or Derry from the book and movies. And then several years ago, an incident happened involving the number 27, as I said, 1927. And then yeah, it's like this evil like force that's been there for a long time, and then they just don't know how to get rid of. So what they do is that apparently Percy likes salt water. So what Edgar does is that he like gets this flashlight, right, dumps out the batteries, puts fresh water in there from like water bottles, just plops Percy in there, closes the flashlight, and then there we're done. But they also get like this container thing with more fresh water surrounding the flashlight, so Percy's even more trapped. And then, to add insult to injury to Percy, they then throw the containment device into fresh water. And so Percy will probably be trapped forever. Anyway, yeah, that's basically the rundown of Duma Key. There's a lot more other stuff, but I mean, since the book is this long, there's a lot of stuff in it. But overall, I really enjoyed Duma Key. I wouldn't say it's as great as The Institute or Mr. Mercedes or Dr. Sleep or anything like that. It's probably my fourth favorite newer Stephen King book. I mean, it came out in 2008. It's not really new anymore, but it's a newer-ish one. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I liked how Florida was the setting. I've never seen Stephen King do a Florida setting before, which is even more ironic now that he lives in Florida, I think, full-time. And I did like the fact that Edgar only has one arm. I haven't read a lot of books where the main character is sort of disabled, if you want to say, in some way. So I really thought that was interesting. And then the dynamics with his family, his wife, she divorced him because, you know, since he had his brain damage, he kind of got a little angry and mad and violent and stuff. So she divorced him. His oldest daughter kind of is distant from him too. And his youngest daughter, Ilsa, the one that dies, is really the only one that really cares about him enough. But, yeah, so I really like that too. And I just also like the characters. Stephen King is no stranger to making great characters, and I enjoyed the characters a lot. Like they're so fun. Like Wireman, he was like married to like a Spanish girl, and I think he is Spanish himself, I think. So he says a lot of stuff in Spanish. I don't understand them, but I like that. And then Jack, which is like Edgar's assistant. He's like a teenager, but he's also doing stuff there, and he's pretty fun. And then, of course, Edgar just steals the show. It's written in his first-person perspective, which I really enjoyed. And then Elizabeth Eastlake, she's just all over the place. It's like she knows that Duma Key is a weird place, but she's not going to leave because she's lived there her whole life, basically. So, yeah. Anyway, I would recommend Duma Key to a lot of people. As I said, it is a bit of a longer book, but if you can read longer books, I'd say you should give it a shot. But yeah, anyway, those are my feelings on Duma Key. If you read it, I would love to know how you feel about it. Anyway, I've been Ben from the Emerald Sword, and I will see you guys next time.